Some of the men that were ref guys with me were the most unhinged, dangerous people I've ever met. I want to be careful because I don't want people to think that, oh, wait, women can't ever be that way. We absolutely can be. I mean, I wrote this for Outside Magazine, the guide who became a toxically masculine feminist. Just Google Melanie Hamlet if you want to read it. In order to fit into this like crazy world of like toxically masculine men trying to prove how tough and smart they are out in the woods, I absolutely fell into some bad behavior and definitely some enabling behavior, and even like, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. But I will say that when it came to other people's safety, maybe not my own, I really didn't respect myself enough to be safe for myself a lot of times. Like in my private life, I could be quite reckless. But when I was a guide, I took that stuff seriously. And some of the men, okay, let me just give you some examples. One of the guides that I worked with, and he was one of the senior guides, like the most experienced guide, he would carry a loaded pew-pew in his bag because he was so paranoid. He also, him and honestly at least half of the men that I worked with always were like totally when they were at work. Oh, look at my dog giving me the side eye. What? Are you a stoner too? I'm not talking about you. Anyway, they're high all the time. They could not be at work not high. Now, I'm not saying that like, you know, that smoking is bad. But the real reason why they're high is because they were such angry people. And when they're, you know, high, they were chill and not as hard to work with. But, you know, in general, these men were unhinged. And it makes sense. A lot of people who are attracted to like, you know, crazy extreme sports come from trauma, from a lot of trauma. Instead of being terrified of their daddy, they go out into the wilderness where they can be terrified of bears and the elements. You know, it feels quite comfortable and normal to feel like your life is threatened all the time. If you don't have that actual threat anymore in your home, then, you know, I'm going to speak from experience here. It felt weird to have peace. When your body is used to being afraid, it's also a sense of control. Like if I can feel like in control of the elements in my life, then, you know, it's overcompensating. And so a lot of men who are unbelievably broken, and people too, I'm not just saying men, cishet men, but people who are broken tend to go to extreme sports. And they're reckless and they're dangerous and then they're put in charge of other people. Now, the reason why cishet men in particular are dangerous is because of what they call the confidence gap. It's a really interesting article in the Atlantic about this. Let me know if you want me to talk more about this. Just inherently believe in themselves. Don't question themselves. Whereas women are taught to doubt ourselves from the day we're born. So what ends up happening is you have all these traumatized men who bring you into their family system of being terrified and in danger because they won't get help.